Alright, sound check. Let's see if this thing's working. Let's see, can everybody hear and see this video? Because my browser is just showing a spinning circle still. I want to make sure that we're live before we get going. And while we're at it, thank you, Live with Rusty and Badzilla, for hosting. Alright, I don't know why my browser's not showing the feed. I'm going to refresh it one more time and then get going here. And get you guys caught up with what I accomplished this weekend. There it is. Alright, here we go, on the road. Let's select the game. I'm going to take a ride around the outside. I'm actually pretty excited about where it's at today because we get to start doing a couple of new things to the map. If you were here on Friday, then you know we were working on, actually we got the roads and the railroads in, and we're working on the outside area of the map, just getting everything smoothed out and leveled. So we're going to take a round, and I believe it's about as done as it has to be right now, all the way around. So we'll take around a little drive and show you guys what it looks like right now before we get into all the real fun stuff, which starts making the map look like a map again. Hello, Badzilla, Farmer@75. So I'm going to take you out. We're going to do an entire loop around the outside of the map, and what I hope to do today for starters is I'm going to start marking what's going to go where. I got to decide, and I'm going to be thinking about this as well as I drive around out here today. What things are going to go where? We know we want at least 3, possibly 4 more farms to be put in out here. One of the first things I want to do is I want to place the train stations so we know where they are in relation to whatever we decide to put where. And I'll go down to the road here. I also, while I'm making this round, I moved some of the distance mountains into place, so added a few more. I did the whole border pretty quickly actually, but you can see there's a border here that we'll be able to put in, and you cannot go, even though it looks like you could drive over the top. And I'm going to probably move that wall in a little bit because there's no reason for it to, but there's an invisible wall. I can't get over there. I don't want you to be able to go up that high so you can't see the ugliness on the other side, so we'll move those invisible walls down to the edge, just in a little bit. I just did those. That was the last thing I did. And we'll go this way. So we've got some of the distance mountains in. You can see them all the way around. All the railroad tracks are leveled. All the roads. There's a lot more to go. A lot of terrain painting. Then we'll get into, but before we even do that out here, we're going to find out where everything's going, and I'm trying to still run that through in my head. So I'm looking at 4 farms, 3, maybe 4, depending on what we find. There's a lot of room out here. I'm not exactly sure how many factories and stuff we're going to have, so we're going to probably put 8 to 10 areas designated for building sites for stuff out here for now. That should get us a good start. And we got to decide what areas are going to be forestry areas. I'm pretty sure I want a farm right at the end of this road right here. I want to put a farmhouse. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I'm going to put a farmhouse on the end of this one. It's kind of a nice little area. And we can build it in so that the farm can have an entrance going out through the bridge way there and everything. So it's a possibility. Either that or a forestry area up here. I haven't completely decided yet. I'm going to take a look at when we get the the railroad stations, because I want the forestry to be relatively close to a drop-off station for logging. So one of the, and the closest one is down to my left a little ways. But you can see we've got a pretty cool little road going back through here. I need to put a bridge in right there, I realize. I gotta do, so there are little things here and there. They're gonna be taken care of as we get to those areas and finish them off. I did add, which we will see in just a minute, another spot down in the corner here. That I shall show you when we get there. Also, there's going to be a lot more dirt roads that aren't put into the map yet. And that really depends on where the fields fall into place and everything else. But I added another little lake with some beaches down in this corner as well. Wanted to get a little bit more water on the map, so I brought some in. And it had to sit pretty low because it has to be on the same level as the existing water plane, so that you don't drown. When if it's up higher than the basically anything that's above the water or below the water plane height, your vehicle drowns even if the water plane isn't there. So it's basically just duplicating the in-game water plane, and I moved it, and there's a lot of it that we're not using that's buried under the ground, and then I carved out the area for where I wanted water to show through. So yeah, you can see we're almost halfway around. All the roads are leveled off. We're on the back side. We've got some bridges and things to work out, but it's coming along pretty well. I don't know what's going where. This area here, even the entrances out to this area where I cleaned up the roads that lead out here. This is the one that weaves back into the Goldcrest Valley part of the map. I finished up some of the canyons, made them a lot smoother coming through. Do have that little house building there that I need to fix when I get to it, and a couple grass spots, but it weaves around, comes out the other side. And this is that long road that took forever for us to put in that one night, 3 hours I think. So I finishing up the whole map ended up going a lot faster once I found that new method. It's actually getting there. Lots of different levels of detail, which is what I like. You could look around and you could see the different levels as we're driving around of the map, but yet very, very large areas for putting our large fields and our farms as well. So I think it's going to work out pretty darn good. And there are some divots and little bumps that get ironed out as we hit those areas. But for the most part, it's looking pretty darn cool, I think. It's going to be amazing once we get all the trees and foliage and everything in the fields put in and the buildings. Decide where everything goes. It should be pretty darn cool. Here, we can turn this off so you guys can see that corner of the map. I don't even know how many. We have a ton of railroad bridges and lots of railroad. So we should have called it Railroad Town, Pleasant Valley Railroads or something. Because they are everywhere. Thank you, Bad. Yeah, it's coming along, and I even actually there's a couple. Yeah, there's definitely stuff, but this is like the basic. I mean, now we know kind of roughly where the landscape starts, so we can start. I can start choosing areas where different things are going to do, and then there's a lot of decisions are going to be made in the next week or so on how the map develops because we've got to decide what goes where. And there's so many little things on here that it's just absolutely incredible. In the news today as well, there is a new editor. Giants Editor 7.03 is out. We're going to take a look at that in a minute, show you a couple of the cool things. I think right here I might do a farm, or I'm going to do something here for sure. That's why I left it so that there'd be enough room for a big lot off of this little spot here. And it's right outside the city. Which I actually did a pretty good job leveling that out. There's a little grass in that corner I noticed, but it was pretty quick. That's what I was doing right before I went live, and it's not done, but you could see that it's a heck of a lot better with the grass being leveled out through the city area here as well, and it is a huge one. Viper, how you doing out there? Yeah, we're gonna make those trains useful in this map. That is for sure. That is one of the main goals. So you can see as we go through here, we're almost done with the loop. All the terrain around here is pretty close to leveled off for building up the city. There are some bumps and things that we'll iron out. But as buildings go in, we'll figure out what has to be the minor adjustments. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Let's get out of here. And I'm going to show you a few things in the editor, and we're going to pick, well, first thing I'm going to do is going to put those buildings, duplicate that train station up so that we can, the Pacific grain stations, and just place them in the map so we can get a better visual of where the train stations are in relation to what's going to pop in around them. So anyway, we're in Giants Editor 7.03, and there are a couple of fixes, but the main thing in here, and this is really great, is some FS17 scripts, and in the map scripts, there is a create ground collision map, which has been an issue for a lot of people creating your ground collision map. So once we're done, very last thing I'm going to do, but I could tell you, it creates the ground collision GRLE based on your ground just by selecting that script. And another one is set field sizes. So if you remember my formula I used to have for measuring the fields and everything, well, no longer needed. As a matter of fact, you just place the points on your fields, and then you select the field transform group. Now, and this is really going to be handy. Once you put the 3 corners on each field, or multiple if they're odd-shaped fields, you select the field transform group, and then you can go script FS17 and set field sizes, and you will see down here it went through and automatically calculated how many hectares, and instantly pretty much, each field size is. So no more guessing. Every field size down in this list right here was assigned how many hectares it is just by clicking the button. So that's going to be a big time saver once we have all the fields in there. Very cool little thing there. On the Canadian Prairie Rail lines, we're spaced 1 day's travel by horse and wagon. Oh yeah, no kidding. The things you learn. The other script here is a script to toggle render field area. I guess this would be very handy if you had a field, say like this angled field here. If we pull up that field, which number we'll grab the end, and you will notice on some of these fields, field dimensions have two sets of corners because of the weird angles, and they can sometimes be tricky to get right. So I'm pretty sure that that's probably the only thing I would use the script for toggle render field area, because when you toggle it on, and we shall see, I think we probably have to have the field group selected. Yes, it says error, please select field definitions root. So you select your field definitions, which is right here, the main fields, and then script map toggle render field areas. It should work. Should it not? There we go. So it kind of gives you an idea of what you have rendered for fields. It gives you a little bit, and you could check and see if your angles are correct on the field and all the area is covered for each of the fields that you're trying to create when you place the points. So it takes the parameters, and it's just a little blue outline so you can see all the different, and they're all looking good. But when you get into those fancy ones, it'll help you out a lot, and then you can easily just toggle it back off by running that script again. I really like this feature because with those few scripts added, it's already been a big help, and who knows what other things that they might add down in the future. It's a pretty cool learning tools. Now with the water plane, what I basically did was I took this water plane over here, and you can see it's a lot of extra water that's running around, but it's really difficult now with the map the way it is to find enough low areas to put water in, and you only have to have above ground. Basically it's at the same height, it's duplicated. We have the water plane and the water plane mirror both have to be duplicated for the water to show up correctly, and they're overlaid perfectly on top of each other. So once you position your water plane like I have it selected here, and there's a lot more water that's underground that we won't have access to, and there's actually some running off the map. Not a big deal, because they're not going to see it once I fix my walls. And you can hollow out where you want water to be based on the large areas of water. I'll show you real quick. If I pull this up out of the ground, that I use that little area right here of this whole water plane, and I'm going to bring it back down, put it back in the water. So you just got to duplicate the water plane, move it to where you want, make sure it stays at the height of 80 or whatever height your original water plane is at, and then duplicate the plane mirror, put it wherever you want, but make sure it's at the height 80. And another good trick is if you set it just above the ground, it makes it easier to carve out where you want to carve out. So basically this was right at that level, and then I could go over the top and know exactly where the borders were. I could have actually carved out, for instance, let's set this down to 75 so we know it's below the water height, and I could have continued carving out, but you don't want to get over to the area like this where it's outside the water plane, so you know you wouldn't draw the water plane there. And you could easily carve out wherever you want when you're using it. Then just take the water plane mirror file, and actually if we have the water plane, which is selected right now, what I do is I take my, and if you hold Shift Control C, left Shift, left Control C, while you have one of the translations highlighted, it copies all three of the translations, so you can easily, once you have the water plane placed, just go back and left Shift Control and V, and it will copy the translations exactly the same as where the water plane is. And you can do the same thing with the rotation. Left shift control C to copy that from the water plane and then drop it here into the... And it's just a real quick way of copying all three, and I imagine it works for the 3 scale values as well. As long as one is selected, you can copy all 3 at the same time, and just make sure those 2 are overlaid wherever you have them, and you'll get the proper effects and everything for your water. Viper278, thank you for the host as well. Alright, so here we are on the map. We've got the scripts. Was there something else I wanted to let you guys know? The Universal Process Kit is in process. More 2000 has a new website set up for that. I didn't get the bookmark. I did register for his forums. He does have a donation link. I'll let you guys know a little bit later on that. I'm going to try to convince him to replace his donation amount. Right now it's €3 or €2, depending on which link you have. I'm hoping I can get him to set up one that lets people decide, because for the amount of work he's done with that Universal Process Kit in the past, he is well deserving of more than €3, and I don't want to have to submit... Right now it's not customizable. I don't want to have to submit 10 times to give him $30. So once I make contact with him, I hope he can do that. I'll let you guys know. Without him and the Universal Process Kit, a lot of what I have done in the past is absolutely not possible. So the more support we can give him, the better. We'll let you know when that pops up. We'll see if we can get a reasonable donation amount so we can pass some money over to him and help him out for all that he's done. Let's find out where we're going to go with our stations today. So I'm going to do it pretty quick. I'm not even concerned if they're working yet. I want the buildings for our grain stations that have 2 trains. 2 trains for starters, which is right over here. And I'm going to select this monstrosity, see if I can get everything that pertains to this looking pretty good, but it's not the whole... I wonder what the transport hub, if that's the whole entire thing. Yes, it appears to be the whole entire transport hub. Now, unfortunately, we're going to have to do some editing of it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate that whole thing. And I have 3 more places. There it is, duplicated. 3 more places for transport hubs. Yeah, we've got the 4X. You are so far behind, Viper. Here it is, the 4X map. We're gonna have it ready. To play on in probably a few more weeks, but it's got a long way to go. But it's definitely been coming along quite a ways here. So let's move this into position, and because it's in a transform group, the whole darn building is kind of far away from where everything is. Let's try it at 90 degrees and drag it over. These are always fun, trying to get things when your arrow is way away from where it actually is. And there's going to be a lot of adjustments to do on this for sure, but I want to get these in place so we know where our main hubs are going to be, and make sure that they're not totally really bad as far as positioning. I may have to scale some things a little bit. Our train looks like it will fit through there. Our triggers are pretty close to the tracks, but not exactly where we want them. So there's going to be a lot of little adjustments to make. Ground height. We want to get that ramp. See how that looks. And we'll make the little adjustments to the first station here. So I'm going to use translation of, it looks like it might be 0. Yeah, 0 will work. Translation value 0. Let's see what we can work out with our positioning. So I'm just going to grab the individual pieces, and with this here we can get it to fit actually pretty darn good there, except for this track is way off to the right. So I don't know how we're going to pull this one off other than practice. We'll find a way. I am thinking, let me see if I can duplicate this real quick. And that gonna work possibly, I don't know. Let's see what it looks like. Not bad. I can live with that. One of those things, I want to be able to use it. Let's slide that over just a little bit more, see how it looks. So I actually just duplicated it to get the spacing right on the ramp that goes over. If we stretch the ramp, then the rails would not fall in properly. So, hey, one thing you can check too is when you move your mouse like this, left and right, you'll see the flashing on the side a little bit from the overlap, but it's not, as long as it's not showing up on the top, then it's not very noticeable. So I don't think it's going to be any issue if we overlap those there. Let's get all the other little pieces into place, lined up with our tracks. And it's not too hard. I like this piece because it's separate. We'll bring the trigger over with it, so we can move them out a little bit. Oh, let me get the bottom plate. And the trigger. That looks pretty good. And as long as the train, now this is possibly going to need to be, and this is one of those things where we can just find the right value. I'm going to see if it's X 1.2. We can stretch it out a little bit, and nobody, well, the crane's on there, so that might be an issue. Let's leave it at 1 for now. If the train gets through there later, we'll be good. If it doesn't, we'll have to figure that out as well. But it looks like we could probably just slide it a little bit this way. And if it doesn't work, we just move the whole thing. Let's highlight this whole group one more time. Transport hub, I want to see where those other triggers are. And make sure they're centered on the track as well. These little guys right here, so that our train hits them properly when it comes through. Ooh, where are you? I grabbed a light. That's one wall of it. Alright, silo trigger. Look at it from a distance. I'll be able to, I just want to slide it over above the track a little bit. Nothing works that smooth for you. Practice. Yeah, gee, it can be a pain sometimes. The new nav mesh is done like in FS15. I believe so, but the numbers are going to be a little bit different because we have pigs, but I haven't touched them yet. That'll be coming up once I decide definitively where I want the animals. So we'll get there eventually, actually relatively soon, once we figure out where everything's going to go. So we're going to have a train station right there. Pretty good spot for it. It's right outside the city. And it's on the 2 tracks that come together. So that's number one. Let's grab the original. I want to use the original so I could see how far off my tracks are when I get there. and actually transport hub. That's the one I just used. The other one's got to be up here somewhere. Right here. There it is. Alright, let's find the other couple places. 45 hours down the drain. Down the drain, what happened? I've had that happen myself before, but man, sounds like you ran into an issue. Alright, transport station number 2 is back here. This is where the other two rails come together. So we'll copy that one and bring another one over here. Probably would have been smart to make sure that the rails were close enough together. I eyeballed them. But you know how it goes. Prior proper planning, I eyeballed them all a little bit far apart, it looks like. We shall see. Yes, if you're working on maps, back up early, back up often. It's always a good thing to know. Let's see what else we have out there. Cronoa, I've decided I enjoy playing the game and playing around with other people's mods. Every time I work on my own, I stop playing for a couple weeks. Yeah, I don't play. Well, I did play a little bit this weekend, actually. Probably more than I should have with all the work I got to do. But you gotta take a break and play a little bit. But I do enjoy map making just as well, except for when I run into dilemmas like, what the heck am I gonna do with my... We're gonna do the same thing here. We're going to make it fit somehow. Let's go back to get this down to ground level. And slide one of them over to there. Then hopefully we could duplicate it and put the other one in place right there. Look at how awesome that works. Not bad at all. A little longer ramp, but it's in place. That's the easy part. Let's see. Where is our transport hub? This is a problem. Just a little. We have to get this whole thing scaled out for sure, or moved, one or the other, so we can get the trains. I think we can get the trains through if I move it over to there. It looks like we'll be able to fit. Nope, the stairway is in the way, so that isn't going to work. With this piece, I'll tell you, it's going to be 1.1 on the scale wide. Barely noticeable, but it gives us that much more room to put it into place. So the X 1.1 gives us plenty of room. Let's move these plates back into place on our rails. Meep meep. Hello, Roadrunner. We'll bring that one over. Then we have the trigger boxes that are invisible that need to go with it. Sometimes you gotta make things work even though it doesn't come out as planned. So we shall figure it out. Now I think I do have to move this just slightly off of that plate there. Make sure my stairs are okay. Yeah, they're good. Alright, next is the hidden triggers that are right about here. Try again. Nope. Alright, we'll find it. We'll find it the other way. Let's see. Silo train triggers. And then the out triggers are right here. Where's that one? Oh, that's the one over here. We got to fix that one on the other one too because we moved the building around. But yeah, you definitely got to make sure this back trigger is underneath as well. They're moving quite a bit. Now, unfortunately, it's not lining up with the pipe. It won't line up with the pipe when I move it. I might have to scale up a little bit more to try some different things. Or rebuild the station entirely. But it definitely isn't lining up with the pipe when it's this far over. Let's try bringing this up a little bit more. See if we can scale it so they're lined up with the tracks. It'll never make it. It will never make it because this one here is way off. So we're going to have to live with it for now. We'll figure something out. We may replace the building. You just never know. Or build a new chute. Actually, I think I like it better even though with it bigger. At least one of them lined up. I'll probably have to make a pipe or something on it. We'll figure it out. Let's see how that works for now. It's not going to line up. That's for sure. We'll make it look like it is later. Silo triggers have to be over the track though, so the train hits them. That one's pretty decent. It's closer. It needs work. I think I'll probably make a horizontal pipe that goes into this little rig with and put the downspouts in the proper place and just overlap it so that it looks like it's all one piece. But I'm not going to do that today. Those are all those little things that take more time than I deal with. Now this is interesting because we have the crane. I never messed with the crane. I don't know if I scale it XY if it's going to work, so we're going to have to do a test. A little further. It might work fine. It might cause errors. It might look real weird. Alright, let's save that one up and see what happens. Let's see. Was there an update to the PV Rivers animal carriers you can only get chickens to leave the trailers. Now they're the ones that came out with it have been working ever since. The pigs and the beef and those dump right into the barns, the proper barns. They got to go into their proper barns, whether male or female. The hogs go in the hog barn. Alright, I'm going to run this just because I got to see what happens with that darn crane. You guys can see it alright, I hope, because we have that issue. I'm going to have to keep an eye on it, make sure that my screen doesn't go blank on you guys. I have to deselect mods so I can follow my errors better, but I've been working on that. We'll start it with that one. Can you stretch out the rail and not the crane claw? I will check on the crane claw and see if I could scale it down in a minute. But yeah, I know what you mean. It looked oblong-ish. We might not be able to have a crane claw on this one if that's the case. It's not necessary on all of them. That's for sure. Although it would be nice. So let's take a ride. I don't know if that one's the one this train is on or not. I think it is. Just out of curiosity. We'll see about that in a minute. That's where a modeler would be coming real handy. It's going to be a little while because we got to go through station number 1. And I don't expect it to work because there's other things that have to be put in for the triggers to work, most likely. But we'll see if we have clearance. Yeah, the pipes don't exactly line up, but there's definitely enough room to get through here on that one. Let's go to the one we scaled the crane and see if the crane even works now. Yeah, if it's scalable. We shall see. You never know. It's all new to me. If I was thinking back when I started these rails, but there's no way in heck we're going to do the rails over again. You know. Actually, yeah, I don't think it could be done. I'd have to try to move the whole rail and everything all in one piece, and it would be almost impossible. That would be almost impossible at this point to move. I'd have to move all the pieces one by one. Actually, I'd have to make sure that they're separate. Each rail's in its separate group, which I could have done in the beginning, and then try to move the whole group as a piece, but you're looking at probably about 4 to 6 hours of work to do that. It can't be done that easy at this point. Like I said, if you only think of these things ahead of time, but I never do. And then it's going to throw off every bridge and everything else. It would be almost impossible. So, one way or another, we either don't have a crane on this building, or we make it work, find a way. Once we get there. Can't splice in a piece of track? No. Wouldn't that be nice? Coming up on the station. There goes the train. Alright, so I didn't exactly plan on parking the train there, but I just wanted to ride over here. I haven't even used the cranes yet. Has anybody else used the crane? Let's see the error log first. Error adding transport hub train. Yeah. Duplicate trigger errors. That's no, because I haven't fixed them yet. Duplicate save ID. I gotta give those two trains a new ID, and the universal process kit is not. Didn't know I still had that selected. But so those errors don't actually. They just pertain to the triggers. I gotta set them up separately, give them new IDs, which is pretty easy. But let's see. I would say that's an issue. Is a camera issue? Is there cameras or whoa, funky. I know we're I don't know a thing about these, but that's not right. I don't know if that's from scaling. Let's go to the other one if we can. I don't even Speaking of the train crane, the path is wrong when exporting the map 01 now. Oh yeah? I didn't even know that. Nope, I haven't tried to export a map. Alright, so there's a camera obviously on that thing that needs adjusting. Can you jump to the train stations? Let's see, where would that train station be? I don't even know. I found the space station. Let's see. The double one is this way. I could drive, but let's run. I want to try the original one. And then get back to the other one. I think it's just a camera issue. We'll get in there and figure it out. And it's probably from me scaling it up as well. Could very possibly. I'm going to try the one we didn't scale as well before I jump out of here and take a look. I have no idea. Like I said, we're doing this for the first time here. I know what I want to do. I just don't know if it's going to be possible. So here's our original one. Whoa. What the heck? Is it because... Well, obviously there's issues. Oh, is it because... Is that all it was? Because I had outside cab view. Do you guys know if that's normal? I'll have to try it on the default map. Is that a normal thing? I mean, I just had the camera selected to... So that works. It was on in cab view. Outside the cab view makes me stare at the sky. I don't know if that's right. On the outside cab view is okay for you. Interesting. I did not change this station at all, but I might have inadvertently switched the camera on it by accident. That's all I could think of. We'll check it out. It doesn't make much sense. Let's go to the other one. Let's go to this one. And give that a look too. Alright, so the whole crane is suspended. That's wrong right there anyway. It didn't scale up with the rest of everything, as you could see. Not that that's a bad thing. It just won't work. I mean, it will work, but it's not connected to anything out here. So I'll have to see if I can scale that up. I don't even know how to make the crane open up and stuff. Alright. Let's jump out and see what the heck. So yeah, that whole rail did not scale up anyway. The inside piece, as you can see, it's floating away. We'd have to see if we could scale that up somehow, but I don't know if it's possible. The outside cab view works. Now that is really strange. Alright, let's see. Number one, that didn't scale up even though it said it, even though it looks like it's stretched out. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm thinking I'll have to come back to it. Figure that out. It could easily be removed, the whole crane. It could also be I can scale it up this way as well, but the crane itself is not scaling. There, now it's scale the whole thing. That's a one monster. I wonder if that'll work. I don't know. Probably not. Crane move joint. I'm gonna have to look into this stuff. Where's the move joint? I'd have to see where it is on the original one. Crane move collision. That looks fine. Lights, default lights, crane move collision 2. Let's see. Cameras. Outdoor camera target. Let's view. Cameras. Outdoor camera 1. Is this the view you get, roughly, of the outdoor... Outdoor camera 2. Where are we? Not quite where that's supposed to be. I think it would be something like here. Outdoor camera 1. On this one. Is there 2 outdoor cameras per train? What the heck? Why is that way over there? I have no idea. The view for outdoor camera 1 should be figuring out which one goes to which thing is another chore. Patience. Are they all going to the same? Oh my gosh. Let's see, who was that? Turig? Subscribe for $10. Thank you so much. This is going to drive me nuts. I'm supposed to be camera. We've got all these cameras. Outdoor camera 1, outdoor camera 2. Let's see. Outdoor camera target. I haven't worked with cameras in so long that we have to figure out view camera. You should be able to go through each of the camera views, but boy, are these way out of whack. Only one outside camera view, and it's staring at the cloth from the left side of the rig. There's an indoor camera, and I'm trying to figure out, alright, so we have outdoor, indoor. This is an indoor camera. And it should be, it's that camera right there. So this indoor camera view should be roughly right there. I thought there was a way to switch to the camera. Outdoor camera is nowhere near where it wants to be. Let me see. I'm going to check, make sure I got the right crane and everything selected for before I move these cameras. Yes, that's a right crane. So we have an outdoor camera right here. We need to put that one over here. I don't know, I think we've got all the cameras screwed up. Let's bring this one on over. Put it into place. And indoor camera.
Hey Dave, that camera's correct.
Okay.
When you're moving.
All right. Yep. I'm just trying to figure out why it doesn't look like I'm looking through the camera when I switch to a camera. That is what's driving me nuts. But we'll figure it out. This is... I'm going to have to do lots of testing. I'm going to save this. We'll have to save it out and see if I did anything right with this one. Are they all looking at the original? The correct camera is current. Yeah, that's what I thought. But why does the camera put it so far off to where, who knows? I never work with these cameras other than moving between them. I'm going to check this out and see what it looks like real quick. We'll take another train ride. Or walk. Make sure I have it right. Righty. Yeah, you know, sometimes things happen. We will figure it out if it takes 20 hours. I'm actually not concerned as cameras as much as the scaling up of that thing is. The train would take so long to get there. Can we go backwards 80 miles an hour? It's a lot closer going backwards. 51, close enough. Now I'm sure you guys know how to jump between all of those things, but I haven't played the game enough. There's a crane right there. Single. Thank you for the host, Meesman 1982. Am I in the right train? I think I'm in the wrong train. I don't know. It's so hard to tell when you're going backwards. But it's kind of fun going backwards. We didn't leave the map. I think we just did a loop without the wrong train. I'm so confused. Somebody help me. I've been lack of sleep lately. Looks good though. I think we're in the wrong train. Yeah, we're in the wrong train. Let's go in this one. Going backwards to the crane. So they only go 51 in reverse. But hey, 51's not too bad. I think this way is the shorter way. Maybe not. But we'll get there. Choo choo. What you guys are going to find out really soon is that a lot of things that end up going into the map are completely because I did something stupid like this and can't get this crane to work, so then I decide, oh, we'll just turn it into a grain station only and we'll put lots of extra silos around or something. You just make it work. Improvise. We should be coming up pretty soon on our station, going backwards. Can we get a passenger script in the train too? That'd be cool. I don't think you can do that, but you might be able to. Just make sure the correct camera is current. Which I thought there was a way to switch cameras when it's been so long since I worked with cameras. I thought there was a like view current, but I could be wrong. Now I just scaled this whole crane up by 2 as well, so or bigger in every direction, so we'll see if that scaled, but I have a feeling the whole crane thing won't scale anyway. The Keymaster, thank you for the follow. Currently no passenger script in FS17. Well, why not? Probably cause more lag issues. Actually, I should just run across the field. I'd get there faster. But we're going backwards in the train. I have a feeling that these stations are going to take a lot more thinking than I wanted to do tonight, but we'll see. We might move on to something else, and I will look for solutions to the issues. See how I scaled everything up, but now the crane is floating, so it's totally out of whack. Yeah, we're not going to be able to scale that crane up. It appears that it is going to cause issues, but let's see if I had the camera thing right. So the outdoor camera would be this view, and indoor camera would be this view. But being that our crane is not scaling up correctly, we'll have to work on that. So I do have it right. We have an outdoor camera. Save your game when the train. True, could do that, but a lot of times I like to. I'm so used to not starting because a lot of changes require a new save game that I don't. But yeah, you're right. I probably should when I'm working on the cranes, especially the scaled up one. Here, we'll save it now. Train is close by. So yeah, we can definitely adjust the cameras. Scaling things up are always a crapshoot. You got that right. Let's see what...
The crane was floating above your rails.
Oh yeah, the crane is way out of whack. It's not sized properly. I mean, the crane didn't scale up with the rest of the rig, is what the problem is. That's very interesting. Did I just jump out of the camera and end up at the other railroad? Or did it just disappear completely? My trains are gone. Well, that's gonna suck. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, well, we know we don't have the train indexes set up correctly yet. I knew that was going to happen, but my train shouldn't have. It like disappeared after I saved the game. Let's go back to the map and take a couple looks and see what we're going to do here. See, it's scaled up in the group, but it's not, whoops, scaling up in the thing. So we're not going to be able to scale that up. My camera's jumping all over the place. Because indoor camera 1 should be right here. Wait, indoor camera 2. Yes, indoor camera 2. Somewhere looking out at the claw. Outdoor camera 1 is right there. But we gotta do the scaling. Whoops, that's what you gotta remember when you're moving around, is to make sure you always select a camera that doesn't pertain to the thing when you're done. So why is this, what camera is this? Outdoor camera 1. They're on, they're all whacked out. We've got 2 sets of cameras on this one crane is what it looks like. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill this crane right now and get rid of it. Get out of there. These cameras belong to another crane. Why, I have no idea. But they belong to this one. Apparently I moved the... How did I do that? I have no... Probably just because of the duplicating doesn't move the cameras, right? That would be my guess. Let's reposition this thing. Get our cameras back to close to where I want. This one is this camera, which that's fine. What crane is it on? I am so messed up with cameras that I have no clue what I'm doing. Outdoor camera 1 is right there. Indoor camera 2 is way over there. So that would have to be on this one right here. Somebody save me. They really need to be renamed, is what it needs. There's too many cameras that are the same. Get it positioned where I want it. or close anyway. That'll work. Should I be backed up a little? Yeah, I guess. So this is for this one, right? Right? Am I right? Yes, that is that one. Next is this one right here, which should work just fine, but we need to make sure we have the right cameras. That's the outdoor camera. Is this indoor camera in the right place? Yeah, so it's the outdoor camera that's way out of whack on this one. We'll bring that over here. I think we're getting somewhere anyway. Let's switch to not that one. Is that it? That one there. All right. So those are correct. And the other one was the original. Let me make sure that those are okay. Get them back to normal before I screw anything else up. Where is that station? I'm lost. It is around this way, right? No. Where'd you go? There it is. So this camera right here is looking for the camera. Where's the camera on this thing? Base installation transport hub. It's not in there. Lighting. Is there no... Let's see what we've got over here. If I can select just the camera. Is that in this one? Yep. Alright, so there it is. It's just down in the base. Alright. Indoor camera. Outdoor camera is way over there. Hang on just a minute. We'll get this one. Not that one. It's that one. For now, those should work. Alright, yeah, let's see. To fix that error on the storage, you have to change the storage number in gameplay out storage of the game elevator. Yeah, I know we gotta do the storage additions and stuff, it's got to be in the triggers. Let's see, somewhere. $data map map01.xml tip trigger on create transport hub. We need to create a new index. Train in 3. So you would change these to train in 3 for the triggers. I believe. Trailer in. I'll have to check that out, but I haven't messed with this yet either. Let's see what the original one's like before we go anywhere. I gotta remember. I know that there's gotta be settings that have to be changed in that map01xml file as well. Where is the... I always lose that station. Alright, so we have these triggers and they're transport hub, train in 2, transport hub, train... Alright, so they're 1 and 2. And it is probably... Oh, under the gameplay? There's nothing in the gameplay. Let me pull up the... so you have transport hub trailer in, train in 1, train in 2. I don't see any other... And then you have the outs. And there's probably only one transport hub. I probably have to actually change. Let's go pull up that map01xml file. I probably have to change it to transport hub 2, my guess. Map01xml. Edit with Notepad. So your triggers are all listed here. And my guess is that we have one that's labeled transport hub, and there is only one transport hub. Here's your triggers: transport hub, trailer in, train in 1, train in 2. So we would need to duplicate these and put 3 more in. But we're going to call it transport hub 2, transport hub 2, 1, and transport hub 2. And we got a third one, so we're going to do transport hub 3, transport hub 3, transport hub 3. We save that. Then if we go back out to the map and fix my triggers, so this one's going to be, this is the original one, transport hub. We're going to name this one transport hub 2 on all the triggers. So where I change this back here, it's going to just be transport hub 2 train in 1, or train in 2, that one is. This one here will be transport hub 2 train in 1, and this one would be transport hub 2 trailer in. I don't know, is there any on the out notes, do they have to be labeled as well? Not that I know of. I see nothing to label. So that would be set. Out trigger storage has an attribute. I haven't even messed with triggers. Number in the out trigger storage has an attribute. Well, we have the out trigger nodes particle position. What attribute? Fill volume with on create, silo trigger on create. I don't see fill volume discharge node length width. I don't see a user attribute for that points to the trigger itself. So I don't know. Well, we'll give that a try for now. Let's go back to the other one. That's going to be trigger number 3. So we'll grab one of these. Transport hub 3. Transport hub 3. Storage above silo trigger out. Oh, this little doohickey, is that where it is now? Okay, storage, save ID. So each one just needs a separate save ID. Is that all? Now the question is, though, if it stays the same, does it have to be different? I imagine it has to be different. So we have storage 3. Now is that referenced in the XML as well? Or is that just thanks for your help, by the way, Bonger76. Is that referenced in the XML file? Because I'm wondering how I can find out what the last storage ID was. I don't see. My guess is that one of them just has to go to storage 4 and 5, right? But they might be already viewed. Well, we'll find out. We'll do this one to 5. I guess you could look in your save game XML and see which one hasn't been used yet. If you wanted to go that far. So this one to... It isn't. We'll make this one 4. Hey, we're learning. So you got to change that little attribute. Storage on create. And capacity per type is in there. Alright. I'm going to save that up. Check out the 3 stops and see how bad we messed it up. Maybe we'll put something on the train and drive it around. That way we can test it a little bit. Make sure that those are set up correctly. We don't have the crane on stop number 3 yet, and I still have another one to set up eventually. But we'll find out if there's any errors. Who knows? It might be just doing the train stations tonight. I was hoping to get... We can actually go around and mark some spots on the map where things are going to be after we get these done. And that is saved as well. Okay, let's roll with and see what... You think I need... Well, we'll find out if there's a duplicate. I may have to change the May have to up them one. Let's go to a clean save game because and deselect my mods. See what we get. How can you deselect the mods and get there for the universal? Can't load config data map map01.xml. I messed something up in the XML. Let's see what it was. Save ID storage 4 is duplicate, so I have to change 4 to station not defined in config. Oh my gosh, this is going to be way too more confusing than I wanted to do. Alright, so we got to get 4 out of there. So there's 4. The one back here that I labeled 4. I think this one is out. We'll change, the other one's 5, so we'll just change this one to 6, and we should be okay with that. I'm going to make a note so I know what number I'm up to, because we're going to have a lot more storages on these in the long run. Cost per fill level and day, so it actually charges you to store stuff per day in there. Interesting. Now, we might have to change, I'm going to check. Sometimes that'll fix all the errors. There may be another error in my XML, but we'll work it out. This is my first time messing with these crazy things. All I wanted to do was put them in place. Error. Station not defined in config file. So where is that going to be? Data map map01xml. Station not defined. 3 times. Map01 config is let's see. I guess that we need to rename the station name. Because we already have station name transport hub, station transport hub. And then this one we can call station name renaming these. Whoops. And everything else supports extension. False is selling point. Was there anything else on the end of that line that storage radius. Alright, I think that we've got some new names. Have to add it in my XML in there? Is that what I had to do? Is there another place where these are registered somewhere? Because this is all new with the way these triggers work this time around. I don't see anything else other than that, so I'll give it a try. See what happens. What the heck? And deselect my mods, which will give me the multi-fruit error because I'm not running that script. But alright, so it's not defined in what config file. No! Not defined in config file data map map01 XML. I have no idea. You have to have one for every grain hub in your XML. I do have 3 different ones. Let's see. I added 2 stations. Apparently, each with these 3 triggers. So we have Transport Hub 3, which has those 3 triggers. Transport Hub 2, which is right there. And then the original one, which is right here. They all have the same. I don't have a clue. Yeah. The map starts with 3. I have mine are named for right. The map doesn't start with 3 transport hubs though. It has train silos, train station 1 and train station 2, and then it just had transport hub. So I have transport hub 2 and transport hub 3, which are actually, but I think that the station can, it probably, if I'm correct, this here needs to be changed to something different like hub 2, because the word station in the front could be messing it up. Here, let's put an underscore just to make sure that oh, come on. I could be completely wrong, but I know that station usually in the past has made it look for, would not work, because it would look for a Giants type thing. A Giants type thing, yeah, that's really a. So we're going to name these over. Just and then see what happens. Because I want it to work. S7, how's it going out there? this doesn't work, we'll work on it later, and we'll get to doing a couple other things. I mean, it's just a minor thing that we'll figure it out. We're going to have to figure it out. We need triggers to work. But I'd rather work on something else with you guys and then figure it out when you're not here and come back hopefully on Wednesday. Well, I'll be back Wednesday, but hopefully on Wednesday we'll have an answer. Now, it's still not defined in config file. I don't know how I'm supposed to define it. I've got the name. You just need to change the station number. I did change the station number, did I not? Or where is the station number? Index name, station name is selling point, trigger width, supports extension, storage radius. In my map, did I not do that already? This one's save ID storage 6. So what group, where would it be? It would be in the shovel target index data map01.xml transport hub 2 trailer in. Train in 1 and train in 2. That is the index name right there. That appears to be correct. It's called the index, and the name matches and the storage ID 6. Yeah, I'll have to work that out and figure out what I'm doing, but right now I have no clue how these are working. Station crane on create data vehicles crane. I don't see wherever something I'm messing up, and it's probably really simple with the triggers. The index is transport hub 2 trailer in. Transport hub 2 trailer in. Right there. The same way it is. So this one here is transport hub 2 train in 1. That is this one right here. And then the other one is transport hub 2 train in 2, which matches this one right here. So I don't know, and the station name is whatever I name it. I have no idea. Well, let's save that for now. I'm going to go find some places to put stuff. We'll figure out what the heck the error is and how to work it out, and we'll get back to you that one. Oh, you know what? You won't believe this, folks, but I know what it is. I forgot one. Now that I'm saving, driving myself crazy here. All right, so here's what I just noticed. Ready? I want to make sure I have this correct. We're still reading the XML file from the default game. We got to remove the and make the XML file path to mine, the one I'm editing. map01.xml. So it's going to be, let's just check the folder path for my XML file. PV17, and it's maps map01.xml. That's where we got to call it from. So let's just move the whole beginning of each of the triggers here to maps map01.xml. Get rid of the $data so it's not pointing to the in-game trigger, but it's pointing to the one that I just edited and am completely confused by. And let's make sure that all the XML lines in any of these triggers are pointing to the same thing. Everything else looks pretty much normal on that one. It's not pointing to the changes on my station was what the problem was. It was pointing to the in-game XML. It wasn't even reading the ones I was making changes to because I never changed the stupid triggers where it's pointing into my map. So get rid of the $data on all the triggers and it should be fine, I would guess. Sometimes, you know, you just gotta keep working on it. Let's see. Now it's pointing to my XML file that I have edited. Edited. Let's save it and see if that did the trick. Oh my gosh! An hour to figure out, and I gotta add more stations at another time. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It's like figuring things out all over. But let's give it a try and see if that error got out of there. Now it's pointing to the one that I'm actually editing in my map. If I am right, we should be good. I should have rehearsed this so I could have done it really quick, but no, I don't rehearse. I'm just busy getting this project done. Let's load it up and see. It might end up with something else, but let's see what happens. The warnings for the sugar cane because I'm not running the but I didn't see the errors this time. I think we're good. Invalid mod name, yeah, because I have a mod in the folder that doesn't have the proper name. But my errors are gone. Each of my silos should have its own capacity. And there is an error, duplicate trigger save ID in just transport hub trailer in. Alright, so there is one, but I'll get that out of there. Transport hub trailer in, duplicate save ID and tip trigger. Other than that, yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't reading the right one. So one of them I have to go back and change the save ID, but that's all it was. Transport hub trailer in. Is that this one? Transport hub trailer in. This is supposed to be transport hub 3 trailer in. That's all it was. That'll fix that one. Alright, so that's all we need for those. Let's go and find out where things are going to go before the end of the show tonight. I have to decide on farm spots, so... And then I'll put the other one in later. We'll figure out about cranes. We'll have to look into that a lot further. See if I could space them out, whatever. Hopefully the next station... There's only one other station that I have to add, but yeah, we're going to need to work stuff out. We'll figure it out. Forgot to change the one storage number. All the storage numbers are good, but it'll work now. So, I am thinking, number one, we have to remember the proximity of our other farm. Farm number 1 is right here, but we're going to have one way out here. And I think I definitely want, and the way I do this is I'm going to just grab some paint, and we're going to do, just to mark it, what we want where. Farm will be marked, and I think I want to put a farm up here on the end of this road. So we'd have something up here on this hill. It kind of looked like a nice place to put a farmhouse and stuff, and it's plenty big enough. We'll expand it out. I think I want a farm up here somewhere. It's just a rough guess right now, but I want to kind of check things out, see where things are going to go. The reason being is it seemed like we can probably do something clever with this road coming up through here into the farm as well, and put some barns and stuff down on the lower area below the tracks. Maybe, and you got a track, you could load the train right there too. Just seemed like a convenient place. Plus you got a lot of flat area and a lot of area along the road going out to put some fields in as well. This is one area I did not smooth earlier, which I did realize that. Let's get that smoothed down. I just couldn't find it. I forgot where it was. So we'll have a farm up there on the hill. Would be farm number 2. And we got lots of room to make it as big as we need it when the time comes. So another place, and we got to keep them relatively spaced out a little bit, but there was definitely a lot. I think I want to do one right over here. Let me bring in my replace tool, because what is going on with that corner over there? I can't figure it out. There, much better. So I think I'm going to put one right here. It seems to be on the edge. Lots of places for fields along the railroad tracks as well, up and down this side. Plus it has a kind of nice little entrance with the train going right over. So I think it's spaced out plenty from the other one. So we'll go and we'll paint in a temporary farm area here. Has kind of a cool entrance to it with crossing under the railroad tracks. And there will be plenty of room to build a farm in here as well. We'll just color it in a little bit. So if that's farmhouse number 2, or wherever it goes, and they'll be pretty big. That's why I'm just, but it's not necessarily going to be dirt, but it's just kind of a marker for now. So we have a kind of a cool little entrance to farm number 2, which is actually 3 because we already have one. Let's see, we need to think about another one, and it's got to be down here, and I do believe I mentioned to you guys that there was a place back here. I think that this would be a perfect ideal place for another one. It's far enough away from the one down there. We can put it right on the end here, leading into here. So that would be number 4. The question is, do we want a 5th, and where the heck is it gonna go? I'd like to put a 5th in, but it'd have to be back on this side somewhere. It'd have to be over this way. I'm thinking maybe we'll put it back in this corner and give it some fields on this side, because the other one is way up. Where was the first one? I can't remember. It was up this way. Where did I put it? Do you guys remember? It was on the end of a road. Right there? There should be one right here. That would be a good spot for it if that's... not too close to the other one. So let's find them all one more time if I can find them. This map's too big. So we've got one right here. And number 2... well, I know there's definitely the one right there. Number 2... and number 3 is right here. And our 4th one is back here, and then we have the 5th one in the middle. So that, yeah, that looks like it'll work. Locations of farms. They will be your new homes. Be kind of cool to come down the road. All right, forestry. Let's see where we're going to put a forest on this map. Thinking. And there are going to be a couple of them, I believe. But let's get the forest ground to mark those. I do like... it has to be near a train station or near a train track. I'm wondering if I should fill in this whole area right here with the multiple layers with one forest area. All around here. I'm thinking it'll look pretty cool. Just for... oh, we got too many textures down there. What's in that box? Gravel 1%. It was the gravel underneath the railroad track that I just killed. What else was in there? Did I remove gravel? Oh, there's gravel 1% in that box up there too. Alright, let's see if I can paint that now. What's going on here? Am I painting on 45-degree angle? Or something? Did I remove it? No, we got rough dirt at 1%. There, let me get this. See, it's the concrete that's throwing everything off, but let me just switch it over. I hate this when you only can paint so many textures in each area, but I'm just going to do that for now. That should get rid of it, and I should be able to get my forest ground in here. HRVCK Racer 29, thank you for the follow. So this is all going to be forest, I think, up in here. We'll work out where the forest, but I want to do a pretty large forest area. Train going down both sides, so you'll be able to load, but it's also going to go here. I should probably outline it. I want to do it all in through here. Have the trains going through, come back down here. We'll work it out in this area, some trees as well. And of course it's subject to change without that. We can bring it right up along the side of the city here a little bit. We'll carve the train, go right through the middle. We can build it up into the back up here. So everything inside, I'll worry about the train rails and everything, but we'll fill all this in with forest, I believe, if it works out. And this is just kind of rough sketching. I'm just trying to get a feel for where everything is going to be on the map. We can run trees on the edges here and down in here. And it'll kind of look pretty cool because it'll be up on the hill here as well. And you'll be able to get the... Here, I don't want to do that one there. We'll be able to get the train up all over the place. But that's a relatively small one. I want to put another area of forestry in the map as well, and I have to figure out where. And then we also got to keep in mind like a gravel type area, which has to be pretty darn big for the way I want to do it this time around. So once I've got places labeled, it'll be a lot easier to build. You know, the forest here, I mean, we could literally run this whole side of the track down here, relatively forestry, but I don't know if I want to put it all on one rail. Maybe another corner up here? That looks like it would work out pretty well. Right in through here. Run the forest all the way around to right about over there, where we're planting lots of trees in this whole area. We have to bring roads into it as well and stuff, but that'll come in. It's just trying to get an idea if, and I may have to come back and erase these, because I got to make sure there's a place for everything on the map. So if we have a forest on each of those corners plus all the stuff in the middle, that should be pretty decent. There'll be plenty of trees on the map as well, not just all in the forest area here. Gravel area, I was really... I'm kind of wondering if I want to do it in parts though. Meaning put gravel in one place, sand in another, or do I want to keep them all together? Because I'm going to pour it on the map this time like it's actually a product, and lots of it. So I don't know where I would put a gravel area. I'm just gonna scope out the place. It can go almost anywhere, but you know, I want a pretty big area. It would be nice if it was like driving down into a little bit, and we can carve out the landscape down deeper too if we wanted to. But that's the forest up there. I'm thinking maybe right off in this corner. What do you think? I'm just trying to figure out. We've got a train that comes right by here, so if we put a loading station or something, actually the one is right down there, so it's not far if we put a gravel pit down in here. And it's kind of sunken in from all the roads. I think that I'll outline this for the sand, gravel, whatever products we bring in. So let's mark that with a gravel brush just for now. And it doesn't look very nice, but it's gonna be a big area. Dark Diamond, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. So if we have a big, I mean, it's gonna be big, and I'm probably going to, I'm not even gonna worry, I'm just marking off the area. I'm not gonna worry about setting it all up right now. This is a long time consuming process. Once we get gravel and sand in, I want to be able to dig it out. Whoops, cancel, get rid of that. Subtract. Whoops, button froze. I didn't get that trackball yet, but I will be getting it very soon. I've been too busy working on the map. So I will be digging out. Oops, I didn't want to do that again. I wanted to do... Here, fill you back in. Like, not quite that like that. We'll have to do it smoother. But we can chop down into the earth. I want to fill, just like you pick up the windrows and stuff now with the shovel. I want to fill huge areas with the material that will keep you guys busy for a long time. And way down in the bottom, somewhere hidden, there will be a trigger that will keep producing or get us so you can't run out if you got crazy. The building projects aren't going to be as in depth hopefully this time, but smaller. Hopefully we'll be able to expand additions. So with that, what I would do now, animals, I'm definitely going to see what I can work on the inside of the map. We'll work on that as well, probably a lot. Wednesday we'll start shaping some of this. I got to look for some models and stuff. Do some painting, get the railroad. We got tons to do, but with that, we're going to be able to start drawing our fields in as well from the farms out. What I do is, at this point, I will look for places like this hill here has this little section. It's kind of cute little section. on the railroad. We might be able to put something right on the railroad there. Maybe even expand out and run a road up there and put a factory or something there. But I'll look for those small areas that really on this map aren't going to work well for fields and designate them our factory spots after we get our fields put in. Yeah, it'll be pretty easy to do. Find places off the roads. Then we'll draw some fields in, and things will start. I think from this point on, there's tons of little jobs that are going to take hours and hours and hours, but the guys want to get something on the server, so as long as I can get their fields in and get some of these roads connecting them up, we'll be good to go pretty soon. Smooth tool. I see a ridge. I'm just running around looking for things that I might have missed. So with our farms, let me see, where is our farm? Farm number 1. We gotta put one more of those stations in, that's for sure. And I hope I can do... It doesn't necessarily need to have a crane on each one. It would have been nice. We might even be able to put the crane singly on one of the out rails with, like they do at that one station, so you can just unload and then have to reload it separately. Your trackball comes Wednesday with FS17. Awesome. Yeah, I didn't order mine yet because I've been too crazy, but I will definitely. It was a pretty busy weekend here with a birthday party on Sunday for my nephew and everything. Alright. So, farmhouse, where are you? Right here. It's going to be pretty cool. We'll have a rail running right behind it. Whoops. Yeah, you gotta remember to switch your tools. It helps. Just trying to figure out if that is farm number 1, where are the farmer's fields gonna go? And do I even want that? I mean, there's like a little kinda... Let me get this. I want to try something here. There's definitely got to be a road going through here, or I'll take out the bridge. So, my thought was... You probably come out this way. Maybe bring... That's another thing. I might bring the sheep farm or something over out here on the hill. Put another field in. And where's that bridge gonna go to? It should go to... Oh, we'll bring it down this way. Thank you there for the host there, Tomcat60. If I bring this road down, and this is rough, we'll fill it in. But this is what I got to do. I got to figure out where things are going to go. We can have a pretty nice straight road coming through here. There's a wide one too. Doesn't necessarily... I might trim it down when I smooth the edges. It'll definitely get a little thinner. I'm just trying to figure out where farmhouse 1 is going to have some fields. And definitely bring it a few more roads in. And figure out where trees are going to go as well too. So if we have this coming up this way, we'll be able to plant a lot of trees in there. There's that big transition. But we're going to get quite a few fields in here. Let me see how it's going to look if I drew a field in. Terrain detail. And let's get a bigger square, because this will take forever if I don't do a little bit bigger. Look, we're already doing a field. Just gonna kind of, I want pretty big fields, but we'll be able to combine some together. We need to have small enough ones for starter fields and everything for all the farms, for sure. And I'm gonna go from I'm just kind of gauging where I want the field edge to be, because the road cuts in over there, and it has to, because I want it to. This would be one massive field, actually. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Good place to turn it. Tomcat Raid, thank you for the host, Tomcat. Yeah, the cranes only need, well, that's what I gotta really think about. We want to have the train that goes to the logging zone. We got to find out where the sell points are going to be too. We got to be able to move it across the trains to the sell points. So a lot of thinking to do. Right now I decided not to think as much and just draw a field. Too much thinking going on. It hurts my brain when I have to think. And a lot of times there's a lot of thinking to do. A lot of adding to do too. I'm just going to draw the fields. I'm not even going to mark them yet, but I'm just kind of getting an idea for a decent sized field here. It's a pretty big field. And of course, with the way things work now, we want it to be looking like it would if it was part of the default map. So we would have an area like this for equipment. Pull off with the roads going around, and I always kind of fill in the corners for the turns, because that seems like to be a thing to do. And we will have, here, let's get this back to grass. I don't want to turn it there yet. It is in the process. It's a long way to go. A map for Farming Sim 17, absolutely. But it's at least a couple months away for sure. I'm just gonna keep on working on it till it's done. Whoa, too big. Get a little carried away sometimes. We've got a railroad track to contend with, so we'll bring this one out. Right now you only have the sawmill for logs. Well, when you get this map, there will be probably a lot more to do with the logs than the sawmill by the time it's done. So that is why I gotta do a lot of tests, especially with the UPK kit and stuff, to see what, before I get too far with all this stuff. We're gonna have to start figuring what we can get into the map and how we want it to work, and it's going to be a long time before I even know what the heck it's gonna end up like, that's for sure. But I kinda like the first couple fields here. It's kinda looking cool. What do we have coming up? Well, I might trim this down a little bit. Get a road between those things. Right up to the farm there. Can't draw a straight line today. Alright, so we will take this here and go to my rough dirt. Is that what we're still on? Nope, grass to rough dirt. And I want to bring a road. Actually, probably be best to start it up this way. Into the back of that farm. But keep it out of the railroad. I think I want to bring it over further. So we'll cut it down this side. Got a little close to that field. Yeah, now we'll bring it right down the middle of the line. It isn't exactly perfect, but then again, when is a dirt road perfect? We'll fix it a little for now. And we need a spot for vehicles on this one for our little area where we'll have the sell or buy trigger. We'll do it right up to there. Maybe we'll extend it a little more. Takes a little bit of room to put some equipment in there. Months. How long will it take? A long, long time. I don't even know. But it will be several months. I don't think it's going to be done before Christmas. So that's all I can tell you. I'm going to work on it. It isn't even on. Once we get it to where these guys can play it on my server and start testing things, I will keep adding stuff. But it's going to be quite a long time before this is ready for release. Whoops, wrong tool. Especially if I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. There's a lot of figuring out, so it's really hard to gauge how things are going to work until we know exactly how things work now. You know, how the trigger systems work and how if we'll be able to get the universal process kit. There's going to be bumps along the way, and it's just so far out that it's impossible to gauge how long it will take. Absolutely impossible. If I knew everything that was coming along, then it might be a little bit easier. This is going to be pretty cool though, because we'll run this road right across the tracks here. We'll get one of those railroad track roadie things. What are they called? Railroad track roadie things. Oh my goodness, I did it right in the microphone. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to. Let's see, where's a railroad track roadie thing? Well, let's find a railroad track. And we'll follow it until we get to a roadie. Not that type of road. Come on. I know there's a railroad track roadie thingy on here somewhere. Well, there's this one, but that's the double thing. Isn't there one on this track somewhere? Doesn't it cross roads? Apparently not. Let's go to the other track. I know there's something out there that is called a railroad track roadie thing. There it is, the single one. The crossing. Not for the dirt roads. When we... Yeah, I don't know if we got many crossing, but yeah, it's sort of like a crossing, I guess. It's a roadie thing. Where's the roadie? We're gonna put in... one of these things. Railroad track ramp. It's a ramp, I guess. It's, what is it labeled? It's railroad I guess it's crossing small. Railroad crossing small. Let's see. I'm going to shrink the dirt road down because apparently I'm really big there on the dirt road for this crossings type thing. So let's go back and trim it down to that size of a road. I do tend to get carried away. I like thick roads, what can I tell you? But we'll keep it to scale with the other stuff in the game a little bit here. It's a railroad crossing, but we're not going to have signals. You just got to be very careful making that crossing. That'll work. And the dirt. Where are we going with this road? There's a station right here. That's right, that station's right back there. Let's run this right up, and not exactly to the station, but, you know. Well, whoops. Yeah, it's very hard to do a thin road. You realize that? I have a tough time. I gotta make a smaller square. A square of 2 is about the width of this road. And what's going on here? What's going on here, Lewis? Is there 4 texture? Why is it not drawing? What am I doing wrong now? Radius 2, square, add, grass. Ha! Rough dirt. There we go. We're gonna bring it right up here. We'll fix it in a minute. This is the farmer's fields. I'm just trying to decide how I want it to go. Taking a look around. With the 2-lane paved roads, there's actually not many different crossings. The paved crossing is built into the road piece, unfortunately. But that's okay. That little ramp works. That's what they use here to cross dirt roads. And that's what I will continue to use. And we're going to run a little bit of a road along the railroad up here. So we can get... Actually, we should cross the railroad because the silo is on the other side. Now this one will be a trick, but we will duplicate what we have down below. Actually, we'll slide that right down over here. That's all we got to do. Is bring this through this way. And I got a lot of road cleanup to do, but we'll grab this here. Boom. So we have a road crossing right where we need it. So yeah, this is actually the fun part, when the map starts coming together. So I'll be doing a little bit of this, and then I gotta do some train splines. I'll try to do more of the boring stuff when you guys aren't watching me, like the train splines, so you can see more of the actual design coming in to the map when I'm broadcasting. What time is it anyway? We've been in 2.5 hours. We got a little ways we could go. That's looking pretty interesting, so we can cross over. We've got room for definitely a field over here. Our forest is up there. Might even wait on this field because I think I want to cross the railroad and do a field on this side, which I will run up, turn it to dirt. I'm giving some room in between these this time too. We're going to plant some trees along the railroad and stuff, but we're going to put a field in here. And boy, do I have a hard time keeping my line straight. And I'm going to cross this back up here. To our farm as well. At some point. It has rod pieces in it. What's a rod piece? Road piece, I'm guessing. I'm just thinking that I'm gonna run through here somewhere. But I'm gonna make it pretty wide. There's gonna be probably, well, when we get design elements in the map, this will not look at all like it does right now. You know, it may look pretty simplistic, but it's not gonna when we get going with the design stuff, bringing in the grass and trees and anything else we need. Houses, barns, train's already there. Road pieces. Yeah, there are definitely lots of road piece kits out there. Definitely lots of those. I just wanted to continue on Goldcrest and use the roads that were in the map, so it looks like it's consistent with the rest of the map. I didn't mean to go that far. But we can definitely put in pretty good sized field over here. Now what I tend to do, which is kind of crazy I know, but I'm going to line it up with the other field by going like this. Just drawing the line so it kind of makes it symmetrical to the other field. Then I can just come over here and I know it's perfectly lined up with that edge over there. Very simple way to do it. Let's make it a little bigger so we can draw more at a time. Fat fingers. Yep. Know all about those. I just can't type. Ooh, and I can't draw either. So we'll just figure out exactly where we want this field to go. I think we can go pretty good size right here. It's hard to say what size it is, but it's going to be pretty good size. I'm going to go into the game pretty soon and check these out so we can kind of get an idea of how it's turning out. And that will probably be it for this evening. And we shall continue onward. But yeah, we'll take another look. And I'm gonna bring it right up to the railroad on this side for now. Use that field space. We know you want us to. Did you guys see that field, that map out there? That has 235 fields. I downloaded it because I expected it to be a 4x map, and I wanted to see if they created the sky files, because I have to get one or I have to do it myself, which I haven't done before. But the 4x, I downloaded it, and the darn thing is literally 235 fields on a single size map. It's like, oh my gosh. Talk about postage stamp fields. It wasn't a bad design map, but man. That is a little bit overkill for fields. For 235 on a single size. I wouldn't want 235 on the 4X. I might have had 235 on a 4X. I don't think I've ever had that many. But it is crazy. I prefer also, if, as you guys well know, is to keep the fields relatively square. We'll have space here that's a little bit odd. Actually, I think I'm going to put the mission spot and the arrow on this field right off of this here, because it kind of looks like it'll go real nice right here. You know, one of these little doohickeys. We've got the extra space. Yeah, that'll work. But I'm not going to... I'd rather have square fields and decorate these weird areas with trees or stuff than fuss around with the whatchamacallit. Yeah, the harvester and equipment. So definitely you'll see more, and also they're so much easier to mark a square field. So much easier to put the field markings on when we get them all in. I'm not doing the field markings until I have all the fields drawn, because you know, I like to number them relatively reasonable, although we're going to keep all the numbers that are inside the borders. At least the outside can maybe continue from 31 all the way around the map in the same direction. So it'll have some rhyme or reason to it. So look at that. We've done 1, 2. We've got an area here, but we're going to be expanding the farm. Might and more than likely will end up flattening this out a little bit and then leaving a little bit of a ridge up here, or putting trees or something. There's a lot of room up here too. We're gonna work the whole farm into this whole area along here as I figure out exactly how we want to do it, but it gives me an idea of where the farm is gonna go. And this farm will control field. We'll run down to the side road over there. Yeah, it'll be pretty big. So we have 3 fields in. Let's check out and see those field sizes. Yeah, rectangle, square, they're better than... I mean, it just makes it easier playing, you know? You can decorate around them with the, like I said, the odd shapes. Fill them in with trees and stuff, and bushes and things, and it'll still look pretty decent. So I'm going to jump out of this, and we'll jump in, and I want to take a look and see, because I'm not sizing them, see just what those fields look like before we log off for tonight. And I will be back here to do more of this fun stuff on Wednesday at 8 p.m. and then again on Friday. So I'm going to try to keep to that schedule. Of course, things will be changing slightly. On the 24th is Thanksgiving, and I will be heading home to be with my girls. I call that home, back where I grew up, to be with my daughters for the holiday. So Thanksgiving, that Thursday, Friday. I probably will be coming back Saturday. We'll figure it out. I'll get a broadcast in there on the weekend if I'm not here, but you won't see me Thursday. You might not even see me Wednesday that week. But other than that, I'm going to try to keep to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll figure it out when it gets closer. Right. What am I doing? I'm starting. There we go. So definitely will be here Wednesday, Friday this week, and my Monday and Wednesday shows will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Friday show will be at 9 p.m. I don't know why, but I just like to work later into the night on and start a little bit later on Fridays. It's Friday night, you know? So that is the plan as it is right now. With exception of the holidays. You never know. But we'll let you know ahead of time. Probably not much notice, but we'll let you know ahead of time. If you can't catch the shows, I will get them up on the YouTube channel within a reasonable amount of time. I don't know if I put the last one up. I'll have to check. But if not, I'll do them both tonight. The last one and this one. You can go back and check everything. But hopefully, we'll figure everything out here and you'll be able to create a map. If you're running into issues, we're going to run into them just like we did with those triggers, and there's people out there that will help, and we'll figure out ways to work around things, and we'll have a pretty cool map when it's done. So over this way is our farm. Look at all the land that we'll be able to build fields off of over here, and you'll be up on the farm. Yeah, I know. I make farm on a hill, so you have to drive up and down to bring your stuff back and forth. It's cruel, but it's going to be kind of interesting. And this road is probably a little bit too wide still yet, but it's just kind of sketched in anyway. They'll be cleaned up and looking good, but the farm is going to be up here at the end of that main highway. We'll have to put a crossing in right here. And Sethrin46, thank you for the follow. So that's a decent size field, I would say. Pretty good size right there. Actually, it's equivalent, I think, to the bigger fields that are already on the map. It will definitely take you a little time to run that sucker. So that, yeah, oh, there's a little spot I missed there. Here, I'll park the truck on it so you guys can't see it. There. There's nothing wrong here. Okay. We'll fix that little thing there. We've got a little crossing here, so you can get over to your other field. A little bit smaller, but yeah, definitely a good size as well. We'll fill in all this with trees and stuff and decorate it up so it looks pretty cool. And I got a jagged edge right there I gotta fix too. I hate when the edges don't line up all the way down the side of the field. But sometimes it's so hard to see in the editor. They're pretty good sizes. That's what I'd like to see around the whole map, actually. Fields about roughly that size. We might have a couple monsters, but when is a good time to change the map to accept more crops and field types? Right from the beginning. You got to do it right in the beginning. Change those bit sets early because it changes everything if you don't do it from the beginning. And when I mean, I was sloppy. I got a couple grass spots in the middle of it over here too. I'll fix those before I forget. But if you don't do it right in the beginning, basically it changes your bit sets of what crops grow on what channels you need to mark in order for to select the crops. And Demon Joker 09, thank you for the follow. But I'll give you a perfect example of that in just a minute once I find my... It's so easy to leave spots in fields like that. and I do it all the time, and I should be shot for it. No. Let's see. You guys find them all the time. This one was pretty good, except for the little corner. And this one, is this the one? Yeah, see how I want a straight line. Doesn't matter what way I delete or add, but I want a straight line if I can get it. So I will give you an example because it's easier to illustrate exactly what's going to happen. And he's asking about adding the multi-fruits. You can go back in my videos. We discussed that in the early videos of the series because it's one of the first things you want to do. And when you're planting, and the reason why is when you're planting crops, the map has to be set up for the extra crop types. And I'm not exactly sure. I think grass normally would be to plant it on, if your bit sets are set up for the normal, it would be 1/6 for any of the fruit types. So if you start out and you wanted to plant, notice 1/6 no longer works for me because I'm using more bits in my map. Oh, actually that's 2/6. 6 doesn't work. Everything changes. I think it's up to 8 now. Well, it's not even 8. It might be 7/8 because I've added more options. So barley is 7/8 now instead of just 6 for fully grown barley. So basically, if even with grass planted on the map, if you don't change it early and then you decide, okay, I just planted my whole map, all this grass, which we will have in here, is going to be, let's see, 1/8 I think maybe is grass. Yeah, everything's going to be planted in 1/8 on my map. But if I planted it all and then decided to make it so my grass had extra bit sets, I'm going to lose everything I did. It's going to change it to a crop that doesn't actually exist, and you're going to have to start all over with all your foliage layers that you've already planted. So you're going to want to do, if you're going to decide on doing a multi-fruit map with more than the 16 fruits, and to be honest with you, I set it up that way. I haven't tested what's going to happen this year with more than the 16, but I know that because my bits changed properly, that there's more combinations that it will work if extra fruits works the same way as it has in the previous, which I don't see why it wouldn't. So definitely change your bits in your map. Look back into one of my other ones. Yeah, Notepad++ as well. Remember today also, guys, the Giants editor, new version 7.03. Try to keep, it's on Giants Developer Network, !GDN will get you the latest version of this 7.03, which does include those new scripts that I ran earlier. There's also vehicle scripts. I'm not a huge vehicle person, but apparently they added some vehicles to increase and decrease and toggle the dirt on vehicles that you can just do by running the scripts that they added in, which, hey, might be great for you guys with vehicles and trying to figure out your dirt on those. So with that being said, I think we're going to call it for here tonight, and yeah, we're going to have a pretty cool looking place, I think, when we're done. We're getting there. Lots and lots of land to keep on going and building, and we'll work on some forestry and lots and lots of grass to plant. Oh my gosh, is there grass to plant everywhere, every single and trees. And we got to redo the railroad track in this section. Why is that not painted? Did I never paint it? I guess I didn't. No, I didn't. That's the new part of the track. So we got a lot of painting, a lot of foliage, and I'll try to keep it interesting for you guys by doing some newer things when we're here and do most of the mundane, repetitive stuff when I'm not, if I can. But eventually you're going to see some of that anyway. Do I know if there is any maps they're going to add Xbox version? You want new maps to play on. I'm sure there are people developing out there for Xbox. I'm not one of them. No offense. But the way with the maps I design with the functions, there's just no way all the extra scripts you're going to have to, and the detail that I like to put into them, that it's going to work on Xbox. I don't even know if there's a 4X, if 4X will work on Xbox yet. There's so much that we still have to learn about this crazy new engine. But I'm pretty much sure that this map will not run on Xbox. Now, when I'm done with this project, maybe the next project, which will be for the mod contest, which will be a single size, we'll probably look into keeping that so everybody can play that. But that's a long, long way off. Like next summer. So you'll have to wait a while. I just noticed there was a little spot there. Yeah, it's coming along. All right, guys. Thank you for everything. Manuel Paul, good night. Everybody, good night. It's been great. We'll see you again on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we'll see you then. Take it easy.